This Raw was impressive because the WWE managed to swiftly readjust and re-anchor themselves after the sudden injury of Seth Rollins. Now we seemingly have Braun Breaker taking the charge, man. He is leading the faction alongside Heyman and, of course, Braun Breaker, which is basically the entire faction. Seth is still going to be holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase, ladies and gentlemen. That has been confirmed on this episode, and I support that decision. I feel his return should be the day he suddenly cashes it in. That would be super unpredictable. So on this episode of Raw, we start with Naomi coming out as she is the new Women's World Champion. Man, there's something about her, just her heel vibe that I'm just loving. She has completely embraced her character, and I'm looking forward to whatever she has in store, man, during her reign, honestly. And I think the WWE is just going to keep that belt on her, for quite some time. They love doing this with heels. The crowd, honestly, they were cheering her on as she continued her heelish ways. Goes to show that the WWE universe really just appreciates her work. They appreciate her character, the way she's dealing with her character. And yeah, man, I just love Naomi. I think she's doing a great job. Probably the best she's ever done, in the WWE, when it comes to just playing a character. Her heel work has just been incredible. A pissed off Rhea Ripley and then Io Sky confront her in the ring. Things get heated between all three of them, but then Nick Aldis comes out, and at SummerSlam, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna get a triple threat match. Okay, Naomi will be defending her title against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Man, and obviously the World Heavyweight Championship title is gonna be on the line, and it's going to be a banger of a match. I'm confident of that, right? We've had two women's triple threat matches, one at WrestleMania and one at Evolution. Both of them have been absolutely amazing. This one has the potential to also be incredible, perhaps matching up to the level of what we got at WrestleMania. Backstage, Dom Mysterio versus AJ Styles also gets announced for SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to that as well. I don't know, man. There's something about Dom I just like. He's kind of like that very slimy, very skinny. I don't know. I like his vibe because he's not a tough heel. He's just the more annoying heel, right? And I think he has pretty cool in-ring ability. That's the unique thing. And yeah, I want him to hold on to that title, actually. I do. The first match is the Kabuki Warriors versus the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez with Dominic Mysterio. This was a fun match. The Judgment Day gets some really good heat, man, and Dom Mysterio especially, man. The crowd is just into him, man. Dom does his usual thing ringside. He even gets punched by Asuka at one point, and, basically Roxanne Perez takes advantage of that. It was after that moment where Asuka's distraction leads to Perez rolling her up for the victory. The Judgment Day win. The next match was a 2 out of 3 falls match with Lyra Valkyria going up against Bayley. This was awesome, man. This was a great match. We're seeing a lot of good women's wrestling these days, ladies and gentlemen. This match was stellar and was a showcase for both Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. The way the final moments went from Bayley's submission move to Lyra's reversal, leading to the Nightwing, and her victory was great. I thought Bayley was going to win. She got the first pin, then Lyra got the second pin, and then Lyra got the third pin for the victory. The third and last match before the main event. Yes, we didn't have that many matches on the show. The third match of the night was Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella. A match with a predictable outcome. In fact, the only predictable match of the night. A side of me was happy since this was a match where Green could showcase her skills. I always felt that she has been underutilized and turned into this comical gimmick by the WWE. I think she's better than that. This was an okay match though. Chelsea Green was hanging in there. Ultimately, Nikki Bella gets the win, as everyone expected, despite the fact that there were certain shenanigans by the Secret Service. I personally am not feeling the Secret Service. I want Chelsea Green to just go on her own, break away from all that, and just go straight towards singles competition. But the WWE creative needs to agree with me. The WWE creative has not been kind with Chelsea Green. Gunther comes out, and from here onwards, this episode of Raw goes from good to fucking fantastic. I loved how we had only 4 matches, during the show, and 2 special matches, and that's particularly why we had 4 matches, just because of the length of the 2 matches. A 2 out of 30 falls match, and now a gauntlet match. This shows that content is key. It's not just about how many matches you have. Anyways, Gunther comes out and brags about his victory against Goldberg. Then Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman come out, and we get a back and forth. Paul introduces Braun Breaker to Gunther, but Gunther shows little interest. Braun steps in, declaring he will win the gauntlet match tonight and face Gunther at SummerSlam. He would then be the #1 contender. That is what he wishes for. And he will defeat Gunther at SummerSlam as well. Paul hypes Braun as the next big thing, a true Steiner, destined to break the glass ceiling and take the World Heavyweight Championship. Only then does Gunther walk away. So the first match in the gauntlet match is Braun Breaker versus Penta. This lasts around 7 minutes. Both look incredible. Nobody looks weak, even though Braun Breaker is a badass. That balance is incredible. He wins, and then we have LA Knight, who just beat Seth Rollins at Saturday night's main event, clearly due to the injury, but yeah, still, right? So the WWE needs to run with that, obviously, and we get a pretty good match. Second match of the gauntlet match. This ran for about 7 minutes. Right? In short, while LA Knight tries to give it his all, ultimately Braun Breaker wins again. Then it's Jey Uso. This lasted around 4 minutes. Braun is excellent, but we can see him getting a bit worn out now. Jey manages an Uso splash and a spear of his own, but Bronson Reed gets involved. This is a no disqualification match. Braun Breaker ultimately wins this as well. Now it's CM Punk. This lasted 8 minutes or so. Bronson gets involved here as well, but things don't go as planned this time for them. CM Punk manages to hit the GTS and wins. What does this mean? This means it's going to be CM Punk versus Gunther at the big Summer Bash SummerSlam, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking awesome. Then we have a beatdown. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker beat down both Jey Uso and CM Punk. Then Roman Reigns returns. He is back on a random Raw. I love it. The crowd goes wild. Roman stands tall after a couple Superman punches and a couple spears. Roman and Jey are back together, and it seems like we're going to be getting Roman and Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. This episode of Raw was great for 2 reasons. 1, because the matches were great. 2, because despite Seth Rollins' injury, the WWE creative managed to change the gear so wonderfully. And that too within just a couple days. What's interesting is that Seth's injury gives the opportunity to build Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed while Seth is gone. Whenever Seth comes back, the dynamics of this group could be very different. Plus, his Money in the Bank briefcase has more intrigue now. I don't want to undermine Seth's injury, because that's horrible, obviously. But in terms of story, this could potentially be a blessing in disguise, honestly. The WWE is in the position where they are forced to think creatively, more so than, in any other situation. We've seen such things in the past, and usually magic happens in these sort of situations. This definitely shakes things up, and things don't seem as bad for WWE creative. In fact, this could be better than whatever the WWE had planned earlier. Having said that, Seth did not deserve this, obviously. Nobody does. Well, that's that, folks. This was a great episode of Raw. The WWE just shifted gears. Braun Breaker is a freaking badass, and now he has the opportunity to shine. Same with Bronson Reed. SummerSlam is looking stacked. Lots to look forward to, guys. So yeah, that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Please do subscribe, like, share, watch my previous videos. Until next time, peace out. Bye.